Cisco beating on the top and bottom lines here. You can see the stock popping after hours, up just about 2%. Sees first quarter revenue growth between 2 and 4%. That is what has the street excited here after hours. 2023 revenue expecting that to be between 4 and 6% growth. The street was looking for growth of just about 3%. For more on this, we want to bring in Erik Suppiger. He is JMP Securities, a Citizens Company senior research analyst. It's great to see you. So it looks like strong numbers here from Cisco. I know you have a market perform rating on the stock. What's your takeaway from what you've seen so far in this report?
Well, Shauna, thanks for having me. First, I'd just say I think this is good news for the broader sector. And the key aspect to Cisco right now is how are they managing their supply chain constraints? This has been a challenge for the broader industry and probably Cisco more than others. This would suggest that they have been effective at navigating some of the challenges that really hurt them in the last quarter. And I think it would suggest, along with some of the other commentary from other companies, that we're at least past the most difficult periods of supply chain constraints.
What do you make of the fact, so I'm going through this report right now, Chuck Robbins saying that they're seeing strong demand with record full year product orders and backlog. Obviously, the supply chain concerns, like you were talking about there, easing just a little bit, although we are heading for a slowdown. How big of a worry do you think that is for a name like Cisco?
Well, to date, demand has not been a challenge too much in the communications sector. As I said, it's been more about gaining access to supplies. As we look at kind of some of the economic challenges that are coming, networking is certainly vulnerable to that. It's not necessarily a priority spend to upgrade a broader corporate network. But to date, that hasn't been the challenge, and I doubt that demand issues are top of mind as much as still navigating some of these supply issues.
And that was the primary concern coming in. They had been losing market share to some competitors. Any good news in here in that regard?
You know, Cisco's real challenge is market share losses. That's been a long-term challenge for them. We'll see which segments of theirs performed well, but I think that they're still struggling with other competitors, companies like Arista Networks, which is a name that we've liked for a long time. These other companies have some best-of-breed technologies that are able to chip away at different segments of Cisco's dominant market share.
You know, Erik, it's interesting here when we mentioned the fact that they are losing some ground, at least to some of their competitors. Supply chain issues, they seem to be struggling or had seemed to be struggling a bit more than their peers. Why has that been the case?
Well, in the case of Cisco, it's typically selling a very large portfolio of products. And so part of the issue for them is when a customer is buying a broad product line, the odds are there's going to be some component of that product line that's in tight supply, and that can prevent a broader a broad-based network from shipping. So it's really from a profile perspective, they're more vulnerable, I think, than some of the best of breed players that can generally ship more specific products.
One of the big pieces of news about Cisco had come last week in regard to a hack that happened back in May but wasn't reported until August. How well did they overcome that as a vulnerability? Has that been exposed?
The reality is all of these vendors are struggling with a malicious landscape out there. I don't think that the hack that took place a month or two ago was anything that was out of the ordinary for the issues that these companies are dealing with on a daily basis.
Erik, right now you have a market perform rating on the stock. What's it going to take to get you to be a little bit more bullish on this name?
Sure, that's a great question, Shauna. I really think that Cisco needs to generate kind of mid-single to high single-digit growth, and this quarter they did guide for 4 to 6% growth. We'll see if they can sustain that. The way they get there is they really need to start executing better on some of the areas of expansion. They're a dominant player in networking. They've done a lot of expansion into software, different software markets like security, like collaboration, and they need to do a better job of taking market share in some of those expansion markets, which really offer some pretty attractive growth.
All right, got to leave it there. Erik, thanks so much. Appreciate the analysis.